MCP was actually invented by Anthropic, by the makers of the clouds AI. And basically, they also invented the connections with MCP, which is basically, what ChatGPT apps are about. Like they are actually like you build the apps over MCP. So basically, like they took the idea, the technology, and they made something really cool.
Hi, my name is Demetri Panici, and I'm a content creator, agency owner, and AI enthusiast. You're listening to the AI Agents Podcast, brought to you by Jotform, and featuring our very own CEO and founder, Aytekin. This is the show where artificial intelligence meets innovation, productivity, and the tools shaping the future of work. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the AI Agents Podcast. In this episode, we're talking about the ChatGPT App Store. How you doing, Aytekin?
I'm doing great. We've been thinking about doing ChatGPT App Store for a long time, but we've been waiting for them to actually like launch it, and they never kind of launched it. It's just they just soft launched it. They added to the product, and they started accepting apps. Like I know because we even released like the second version of our product, Jotform's ChatGPT app. And obviously, we are going to showcase that as well, in addition to the other products. But yeah, I mean, we waited and waited. I guess they're like, they had that red alert or whatever it was called moment, and they just switched gears and started working on other things and like competing with Anthropic on different things. And they kind of left out just for like ChatGPT apps release. So we decided, okay, enough is enough because ChatGPT App Store is amazing. It's just amazing. It's just so great. I'm just constantly using it. I was just like looking for a rental, car rental, like, and I was using the sixth ChatGPT app instead of going to sixth website because it's just so much easier. I can use voice. I can talk to it and say things like, "Okay, arriving in this airport on this date." Things like that. It's just so much easier. I cannot do that on the sixth website. So how about you? Have you been using?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been checking out this stuff recently. I think there's a lot of what's interesting is there's a couple different, I guess, communities competing over apps. I don't want to say app stores, but like something similar. You got Claude with all the different connectors now. You have Comet, Perplexity, which is making Perplexity Computer, which has like some different like apps in it, right? And you're connecting it all together, and you can, funny enough, like build your own like connectors and apps in Perplexity Computer. So there's just so many different things right now, and we got to just do our best to keep up with it. But with ChatGPT, I think it's probably the most easy to interact with interface and like set stuff up. It does feel like an app store, like Apple's app store in a way, but inside of ChatGPT.
I think that's a very important point. It just kind of reminds me 2008 or whenever they released the Apple App Store. Like it was very small at that time. There was like a lot of fun apps. People didn't really like took it seriously, and Apple didn't actually have a lot of features. It didn't allow the apps to do a lot of things. But then like 10 years later, uh or 15 years later, app like think about it, like the mobile app stores are huge. Like most people actually use for example, banks or things like that. The social media, pretty much everything like, watching YouTube or whatever you are doing, you're actually using mobile apps. And it became huge. Like probably people use more mobile apps more often than they use like desktop apps, especially in their daily lives. So I think ChatGPT App Store kind of has that, and I feel like this is gonna happen for all AI products, though. Like because, I mean, if you think about it, uh, MCP was actually invented by Anthropic, by the makers of the clouds AI, and basically they also invented the connections with MCP, which is basically what ChatGPT apps are about. Like they are actually Like you build the apps over MCP. So basically, like they took the the idea, the technology, and they made something really cool. The apps, and it's really exciting. And yeah, I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, to get things started, did you want to go into excuse me. Or I want to actually showcase the App Store itself, and then we can get into some of the apps. So let me share my screen right here. So this is kind of what the App Store looks like. You have the ability to see it now, right?
And they just added the yeah, I can see it. And they just added that menu on the left side. That means like if ChatGPT has a billion users, the App Store is probably getting like so much usage. And we know it as well. Like our Jotform, we get like thousands of connections every day. Like people are using like thousands of times every day. Huge number of people using the App Store. That's like that's a huge opportunity to miss. If you are today, if you're not on the App Store, like you are missing out so much. It's just like if you're a SaaS product, if you're a especially consumer products, because 1 billion people, mostly consumers, but businesses are also using ChatGPT, and you're not there, you're not in the App Store, you're missing out so much.
Let me start by just taking a look at where kind of things sit in regards to like what kind of apps are here. First of all, we have Adobe Photoshop, which is something I have obviously have connected. And it's a classic, and it's going to be interesting to showcase. Same thing goes with Canva, which is another one that I'll get into later, and then there'll be a fun one with Apple Music. But a lot of these are, a mixture of like personal things, not so personal things, lifestyle and productivity. I think the thing with ChatGPT is they're definitely the app that's most trying to mix in with everyday use cases for people as well as for people doing work, right? You don't really see a lot of that with stuff like Claude or Perplexity. It's all work oriented. Whereas I feel like ChatGPT does have a little bit of like, this is something I'm trying to do to interact with something in an AI oriented manner that I might just be using to, for example, with Zillow, find my house or find the place to rent. Like for example, the fun one that I could maybe show to get to kick this off if I start a chat. It's ChatGPT music Apple Music connection, which I'm an Apple Music person. I'm not a Spotify person as much. Not that I don't mind it. It's kind of what I end up using. So with this, I can ask a question. You can see it just had to connect. And I can be like, what are some of the top trending songs in Apple Music? And is well, the first thing I'm going to ask. As you can see, it's interacting with the app. I found the Apple Music tool, but it doesn't have live charts. So, which is kind of frustrating. What it can do, right, is find Apple Music playlists that look like current trending charts and search Apple Music for a specific artist, song, or genre you care about. So, um, I could say something like, "Show me current trending pop charts in
It's
Apple
also
Music."
connected to your account, right? It could
It
actually tell
is
you
connected
things
to my
like,
account.
okay, find out what's my favorite song.
Yep.
Things like that, yeah.
What is my top played song on Apple Music? And by the way,
Mhm.
yeah, because I had to like sign into my Apple account in
Yeah.
order for like this to, I mean, it says no connection required, but it does give you the option to connect it. So by the way, this is a couple different things. You can actually click on this and it makes a playlist for you in Apple Music if you press create playlist, or this just adds it to your library. So for those of you that don't know, library is essentially your downloaded list of songs that you get from Apple Music, which is nice. But the problematic again is
Mhm.
that it's only a connector in the sense that you can find new music in a searching manner.
Mhm.
Because I don't know if you've used some of these music apps. I feel like they're not really that great when it comes to like searching for new music. Like you'd have to scroll through playlists and you can ask questions about like what music sounds similar to Panic at the Disco that I can add. Because that's my favorite artist. So I could always do this, find similar music, right? And then I can press that little plus symbol, which is kind of a nice way to find new music, add new music to the library without needing to kind of I guess,
Nice.
sift through what, in my opinion, is not the best experience. This is actually pretty good
I mean,
advice. I
if you combine it with like research, like deep research, things like that, maybe you can do like things like, you can ask it to like look at all the music you like, and then pull that, and then actually like kind of discover new music for you, things like that. And then you could ask it to, use the app to add it to my create a playlist or something like that, so that you can try those musics. You could probably combine it with deep research of of ChatGPT.
Yeah. The one thing I will say though about this is it seems to be on the personal side. It's a lot of like add things to list, research stuff through AI. Um, trying to just do things in such a way where you're not interacting with the app interface as much. And this is something I wanted to ask you as we get more into this. What are your thoughts on how a lot of these app stores, or not app stores, but app connectors are sort of building this bridge between the chat interface and the lists of things you can add and whatnot? Because I'm kind of finding it that most of the different connectors are trying to move you towards the chat interface and away from the app itself.
I think it's just one of the reasons is it's just they have their first versions, and they will be able to add all these capabilities in the coming versions. Is if they see people using them, um, they're gonna be building these capabilities. Let me demo the Jotform, which actually has like a UI interface. Um, right. So I'm sharing Jotform. So as you can see with the ChatGPT Jotform app, and I'm already connected. That's why it says it's if you're not connected, it will say connect, and you click on it, and then you authenticate Jotform so that ChatGPT can actually talk to Jotform and do things for you. So as you can see here, you can create forms, right on the interface. You can customize it, and you can see your submissions, analyze your submissions. So basically, there is a UI. You don't have to use the UI. You don't have to, but I think UI actually makes it so much stronger. And my guess is that this is like the first version of the Apple Music app, and as time goes on, they're going to add all these elements to the UI. And let me demo our ChatGPT app. Right. So when I say start chat, it says, "Hey, I think you're ready to dive in. Ask anything." Right. So I want to create a quiz for third graders. Right. Uh, and we can see, and this is in the chat interface. But within the chat interface, you can actually like it opens these boxes, and these boxes are actually connected to the chat form. And basically, what's happening here is that the ChatGPT, the OpenAI model, is actually creating a prompt, and it's sending this prompt to us, to Jotform, Jotform's MCP, and then we are building this form for you. We are building this quiz for you, and you can actually see it built. And this is actually coming from Jotform side, but you don't have to go to Jotform. Basically, I mean, this is our second version. You cannot do everything. Like you may need to go to like you can click on edit in Jotform, and you can basically open this form in Jotform. And looks like I'm logged out, but right, you can actually edit it on Jotform, but ideally, like you should be able to pretty much do everything here, and that's our goal. Actually, we are actually like adding all these features within this app as well. And we can actually you can also like use the full screen, and I'm using my mobile phone. That's why it's kind of slow. But yeah, I mean, here we see the Jotform app. We see the full quiz. It created this quiz for me. and just I can try the quiz and just you know uh, do everything, and I can get like the uh, link for this. Maybe I can get the link by just asking for it. I actually provide it here, right? And here's the final quiz, right? I can just share this link with someone else, and I will be able to just you know it's that easy to create forms. And then let's say I filled out this form, right? You know, test user, and then I can actually like ask it to build like conditions, things like that, so that it can actually do calculations. For a quiz, I'm just filling out. I completed this. Now I can actually go here and ask like, okay, show me the show me who fill this form, and I can actually get uh again, I'm not leaving ChatGPT. So basically, like if I'm using like 10 different you know AI products, I don't actually if I'm using like 10 different SaaS products, I don't actually have to leave ChatGPT. I can just do my job here, right? I can say things like, okay, go pull all the data from Jotform and then send that data to like HubSpot or something, right? Basically, I can use ChatGPT in any way I want. And we have seen this tremendous uses. Like we are seeing like 5,000 requests per day. Recently, there was a huge usage. And when I actually look at like uh we basically interviewed our users. And when we interviewed our users, like people who are using this our ChatGPT app, that like I discovered that there are like 5 reasons that the our ChatGPT app is so valuable for them. Um, I think the first one is actually uh, ChatGPT, the model OpenAI, actually knows forms so well. It knows the whole World Wide Web, so it has seen all the forms in the world. When I ask it to build a quiz, it knows what kind of quiz, like what kind of third grader quiz are there, right? So it knows so much, like what it knows about the user experience, pretty much everything. This means that when you need to create a form, it knows what kind of questions to add, what type of questions to add. So uh, it's you know it's really good at forms. That's the first reason. The second reason is it knows about your business. Let's say you're a summer camp, right? You need to build like an application form, and because the model actually browsed all the summer camp websites in the world, because it read everything about summer camp applications, it can actually build a great looking form for you, right? Because it knows your business as well. And the third reason is it also knows Jotform. It's the models. They visited our user guides. They read all the comments about Jotform. They know all the features Jotform has, and also using these apps like the MCP connection we have with ChatGPT, it can use Jotform as well. It doesn't just know Jotform; it can use Jotform. And the fourth reason is it can also use other tools. It can do like web searches, or if it needs to create a form as a part of a project, let's say, maybe you are using Codex or something, and then you are actually building a website, it can actually go and create a contact form for you on Jotform and then put it on your web page. So it can use other tools. That's the fourth reason. And I think the fifth reason is it can use its memory about you, right? It knows you. It knows what you like, what's your business about. So when you just say, okay, let's say you're a summer camp, when you just say, okay, create me an application form, it doesn't have to ask what kind of application form. It knows that you're a summer camp business, what kind of needs you might have, and then it's just gonna go and create the kind of form you want. Maybe it knows your address, your business name, things like that. It's just gonna your logo. It's just gonna take care of all those things for you. So that's why it's so powerful. That's why we see this huge usage in our users, because when they go to Jotform, like we don't actually know many of those things, but when they let ChatGPT use Jotform, it's so much more powerful. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so you think that, and I'm curious about this with ChatGPT specifically. How much do you use ChatGPT individually relative to the other ones?
I don't think I use Google anymore
You don't use Google anymore? Okay.
for everything. Even like I was reading like credit cards, right? The terms, I just said, okay, what's the terms for this card or something like that, right? What's the benefits of this card? Like, just I don't need to Google that. I don't need to read the like small tiny print. Actually, ChatGPT can do the research for me, and so yeah, pretty much, I use it for everything. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, because that means I think with a lot of the stuff that, you work in there, that means that the more context it has about you, the better. I know that with a lot of the different apps right now, they do tend to store memory, and ChatGPT's been doing that for at least the last like year and a half, if not 2 years, if I'm not wrong. Right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the memory is so powerful. I mean, I personally don't use memory. I disable it because I'm doing lots of testing as well. Like, I just test our product. I don't want it to get confused with my history. You can actually turn off the memory, and when you turn off the memory from the settings, every time you have a chat, it's just gonna forget about your previous chats. It's just gonna only remember the current thread. And I prefer to do it that way because I'm doing lots of testing. Like, just every day I'm testing our product. But yeah, it's so powerful if you use the memory.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with me, I think, that's obviously very important with any of the productivity stuff you're going to do. And I think it's important that we remember the AI and what we give it, I feel like gets better as we give it more things. And now that can be a scary thing to kind of admit, right? I think a lot of people get a little bit turned off by that idea. But it can be pretty incredible if we manage to interact with it in a comfortable way or a way that's comfortable for us. Now I'm going to show something a
I think
little
it's
bit.
both ways. It's so powerful because it knows you. You don't have to remind it. But sometimes you kind of get stuck, right? Because you wanna discover new stuff, right? When you're going to ChatGPT, you don't want to get stuck with like the previous conversations. Sometimes you just want to have this fresh new conversation. So I think I'm still not decided if the memory is that powerful. But I guess I think it has to have like the switch, right? If I am researching about new stuff, maybe sometimes I just want ChatGPT to get confused about what it knows about me. Like, just so it can actually suggest new stuff. So I'm undecided on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So another one that I wanted to show just because, and actually it might be a two-parter here, is two different apps that I think could be interesting. So we have Canva, and we have, let me just pull up my accounts. We have Canva, and uh, Photoshop. Let me grab this real quick. Share my screen. There we go. So Canva, as you know, is one that a lot of people use for, I mean, a lot of different things. They use it for brand stuff, just in general, like making brand assets. Definitely brand profile thing is one thing, but also brand social stuff. As you can see, there's kind of some really cool designs here that are made. So ask Canva to create unbranded social posts, presentations, marketing materials, that kind of stuff. So this is something that could be interesting. So what I could do is I could start chat, right? And I'm gonna actually grab the. Let me grab something for you here. I'm grabbing the Jotform. Hit the mic. Sorry. I'm grabbing the Jotform logo. All right. I'm gonna put it in here. I'm gonna say, can you create a graphic or social media that asks the question, what makes your AI tick? That is in the Jotform theme and is a nice 9 by 16 social media. No, wait, 1-to-1 social media graphic with interesting text and design. There we go. So as you can see, we go here and this is what makes AI tick. Now, what's interesting here is it took what it seems to be is the theme of Jotform, right? The theme of it, not necessarily the app. So here's a couple different options. Jotform right here. What makes it your AI tick? What makes your AI tick? Now what I can do here, and this is where I'm trying to add different things together. So this was Canva, right? So I'm going to take one of them and I'm actually going to go over to the second app that I'm going to use, which is going to be, if I go to the apps, so I'm going to go to Photoshop. I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to say, can you please properly add in the Jotform logo? So I'm going to get the Jotform logo again because it didn't list it in Canva, but with Photoshop, I believe it has the ability to put stuff in there. So maybe I'm using 2 for 1 here. Classic. Okay, so this is done, added the Jotform
They
logo.
will.
No, it's not doing a great job. So it might just be bad with graphics here, but let me try something else with Canva
Mhm.
because or with this because how they frame it with Photoshop is that let me show you the preview. It kind of is framed in such a manner that it showcases, remove the distinctions from the background, that kind of stuff. Let me show you a picture of myself here that I always end up using for social media and stuff like that, right? And it's a good one. So if I just take my face, it's a nice side profile. So we got this here. So there's this nice picture. Looks very stoic of me, but the top of my head looks weird. You see this? It looks like I don't have hair.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask, I have a weird artifact on the top of my head that looks like I don't have hair. Can you smoothen the top of my head now? Or fill
I'm
in
scared.
the weird gap? Yeah, smoothing my head maybe not have been the right prompt to be fair, because my head like might make me bald. Oh my god, that's actually not bad. You
Yeah.
see this? It's actually pretty good. It
Wow.
looks pretty natural.
So much good. I think
Congrats,
you should use it
Photoshop.
from now on.
I should. You know why? Because
Use.
it
I will look
literally,
at
like,
that.
I don't understand how the physics worked here, but it made me look like I had literally was missing part of my head. Or I lost the original photo, and this is the Photoshop photo that I made, and this fixed it. I'm really not sure. Like,
Mhm.
there's been a thing for like 8 years I've been trying to decipher, like, what the
Yeah.
hell or like not 8 years, like 5 years, what the hell happened. Um, but as you can see, you can do basic stuff like that. So, it's pretty nice in the, sort of general AI image type of thing. And I enjoy it. It's a good time. What other stuff have you played around with?
Um, I think, yeah, I mentioned sixth, TripAdvisor. Let me give that a try. Sharing it. Um, yeah, I mean, another one would be to use TripAdvisor. I already have connection. So for example, we are going to go to Disney World in 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 Orlando, right? Disney World, right? We're going to actually spend a week there, and We will stay at Disney World. Stay at Disney World. What other attractions we should visit nearby? Right? There's Universal. I think there's a good zoo in Orlando. Yeah. Um, SeaWorld, Discovery Cove. Um, yeah. Can you show me some pictures? Because I actually like, especially like when we're with the kids, like we like to look at the, and they get excited more seeing the pictures of different things. Hopefully, it will do something here. It just gave me like an answer here. Okay, yes, something is coming up now. That's better. hmm It's showing me the hotels. But show me the attractions. Attractions. Photos of attractions. I think these first versions of the apps are they're not so good. So if I use ChatGPT directly, I probably have gotten much better responses here. Yeah, it says here available because it's tool sets, hotel focused. Okay. So they're not really supporting that. Uh, but usually like TripAdvisor, they have photos, things like that. But in this case, it's just showing the hotels. So in the hotels, like if I'm browsing the hotels, it's also pretty good. It's giving me some deals, things like that, giving me a map. Um, if I click on the map, do I stay here? No, it's just showing me a small map. So yeah, I think it's just we are still in the early days. The apps are not that great yet.
Okay. Well, cool. I think TripAdvisor is something that I've or and all those different like trip platforms are something that I mess around with and like I search around with, but I don't feel like I really get good answers by like interacting with the platform a lot of the time. So that could be another good example of something you can use personally. Well, for me, I think just to kind of like wrap things up, this app store has been out for a little bit, right? Where do you think ChatGPT can do a better job of announcing it, talking about it? I know you guys are on the App Store. We're on the App Store now. So, what do you kind of think is a place where they can continue to push this? Because I do think it's helpful. I just don't think saw a lot of media around it.
Yeah, they just soft launched it. They just added there, and I think it's just still they probably haven't put like the enough resources into this because they have to deal so many things. Like they released the 5.4 and new model versions, things like that. So I think their focus uh, has been in other places. But I feel like this is huge. The apps are going to be huge because there's just so much power here, and there's just big interest. Like, okay, if you think about it, here you have these 1 billion people using this product, and I don't remember like what's their weekly numbers, but I think it was like still like huge, hundreds of millions, like 500 million or something like that. So there's this huge number of people using this platform, and then there are all these other products that want to like get an opportunity to be in front of those people, right? So there's this like huge opportunity here, uh, right? So, but it's just moving so fast. I think it's just our expectations has changed, right? We just expect things to happen instantly. But if you think about it, Apple didn't release their product with the App Store. There was no App Store. I think they didn't even have like copy paste in the first version of iPhone. Uh, and they just it took them many years to add the App Store, and then after the App Store, adding all the functionality for the apps. So I guess we have to be a little bit patient, but this is going to be huge. I know it's going to be huge because like people, they actually prefer talking to ChatGPT than learning another UI. even TripAdvisor, it's not like you don't learn a UI like at Jotform. Like you have to learn a form builder, right? Like we rewrote it like 4 times to make the easiest form builder for over the last 20 years, but it's not easy. They just want they just want to ask for things to happen, and they just want to get things like handed over to them instantly. And it's just the chat interface is that everybody can use the chat interface. Everybody can use their voice. Everybody can type what they want. They don't have to learn all these other products. They can just make their wish, and they now expect that wish to come true. That's why I feel like this is so powerful, because all these SaaS products, all these online products, consumer products, there's this huge world of them, but then there's this huge opportunity here. A billion people using, talking to AI every day, every week, every month. And now, like, once you can connect those two, I think it's just going to be so powerful, because just like we've been so excited to build our app for ChatGPT, I'm pretty sure everybody's excited about it. So I think it's going to be huge, but we need to wait a little bit more. Yeah.
Nice. Well, with my end, I think that, the way that these type of things change and move forward is so interesting because so many parts of everything that ChatGPT are doing, I feel like got put on a bit of an interesting, like, oh crap, like wait, maybe this is not even worth to talk about as like a future endeavor of this, because when Sora got like just shut down unceremoniously, like I don't know if you saw that a couple weeks ago, or yeah, I feel like I'm not gonna know where, where they're gonna take things, because 'cause they're just like, by the way, we're done with this thing we've invested so much money in." And I'm like, "Okay." So I think this is a really cool thing. I think it's really interesting, and it makes it easier to interact with some apps, but I hope that they keep it around and they don't just randomly sunset it like they did with Sora. Yeah. Well, with that being said, if we don't have any other thoughts, I think it's a good place to wrap things up. Please make sure to check out the Jotform app inside of the ChatGPT App Store. It's a great place for you to just interact with our app without needing to even get into it, which is a weird thing to say. But with that being said, make sure to leave a like, comment, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
See you the next time.